how do you feel about process and gaming, particularly like in that early work where you had those shapes that you kind of restricted yourself to,
Mm.
building like describe loosely maybe your process and what's the important of that process.
Okay, so just really quickly and briefly, the overview would be first a lot of research, which is made easier for people when it comes to the web now with things like AI, where you can pull in information and data and find subsets and really see what's out there, at least on the web. It's great for
Hmm.
aggregating that content and those things. So researching your ideas is something already out here that exists like this. The next thing is capturing all your ideas. I'm relentless about capturing ideas. I carry a little notebook with me everywhere I go to just try to, if I have an idea, capture it. And so capturing ideas is super important. The third thing is to make sure that as you're developing your ideas, you try to be minimal and set some boundaries for yourself. Like, I'm not going to go here because this is too much. I'm not going to go there. I just want to accomplish these two or three things with this project because if you're anything like me, it can be very distracting and overwhelming to get started. So
Hmm.
I find that putting those bumpers in place is comforting, at least to me, because I already struggle with being distracted. A fourth thing is to get feedback from people you trust about what you're doing. And often
Hmm.
that's been my instructors. I still am in touch, you guys, with instructors from back when I was in college and
Hmm.
friends that I made. Those are the people that like will give you honest feedback. And asking for that feedback will help you make your process better. To sum it up, just don't devalue the process because your output is only going to be as good as what your process is. And you'll hear that from time to time from people who will tell you they can cut corners, especially a lot of YouTube people. Like they'll tell you all the time, here's how you cut this corner, here's how you don't do this. Just be
Hmm.
careful who you're watching because not all of them have the experience that they might seem to have. And that's why it's important to have your own network of people you trust and you know
Hmm.
their pedigree, you know what they've done and can give you really solid input on what you're doing. That'll help you to create a process you can repeat on multiple types of projects of your own. Does that help?
Yeah, I mean, I always tell students to, it's important to share your work, get that feedback, but also just be aware of the context of who
Yeah.
is giving that feedback. Kind of building off of that, a lot of students ask about the idea of style. Like, how do you feel like an illustrator comes up with the style? How do you feel like maybe what you would consider your style? How do you feel like you evolved into that?
I'm really glad you asked that because I'm very passionate about this subject. Don't worry about style. Make your work happen. Make your ideas happen. And only after looking back at your work can you determine whether you have something repeating itself. And it
Hmm.
does lead to idea of, oh, my style is this, or maybe it's that. Maybe all of my work I gravitate more to hand drawn, or maybe I've gravitated to more of shape based work. For me, I have tried to build a flexible style, something that when I work with clients, I can shift into what they might want, whether it's like clean vectors or hand drawn vectors or, very technical drawings. I try to be flexible with that stuff. I ignore people who say you need one style to be known for. I have personally not found that to be helpful. I think that having a few different gears to shift into is really good. So if you look at your work and you're like, this looks different than that. I don't like that. Well, look at the positive side of that, which is you're developing range. And range is sometimes very important when it comes to the projects we work on. If you're too known for one thing, people will pin that to you, and then you'll
Hmm.
never be anything else but that. And that's why musicians change it up from album to album. They're looking to show the range of their creativity.
How much of a range or how focused do you think a portfolio should be for someone? And I realize that might change at different parts of their career.
Yeah, I'd say at the outset, do what's coming most comfortably in terms of expressing your ideas and making them happen. Obviously, when you're starting out and your goal is to finish and complete a degree, you have some objectives to meet. And so let yourself focus in on something and do it very well. But know that you can shift into, and your career is going to do this. Your career is this. It's not just the 5 years block you're in right now or something. there's a long
Mhm.
time for you to develop new ways of expressing yourself. So I'd say in the outset, yeah, maybe focusing in on one specific execution style would be good to master it a little bit more, because then you're able to show a commitment to something. So that is a good thing about working in a specific style, but maybe there'll be things about your work people can see similarities. To me, that's having a style. I also think too, Jordan, that style is about who you are as a person. So if who you are as a person comes through and that doesn't change your how you treat people, the respect you show for other artists, etc., that ties into your style. It's who you'll be known as.
It's interesting to tie that idea of personality in with the style and it being a reflection.